Shalom, Israel and Brother Jacob. The title of today's class is, What Are These? The Unseen Patrol of the Most High. We're going to start with the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 9. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 9.
Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be.
Zechariah receives a vision, but he does not immediately understand what he sees. He asks the angel, What are these? And the angel responds, I will show thee. That right there is the doorway to revelation. It is not enough to see. Understanding must follow. And understanding only comes by staying in the spirit and seeking interpretation from above. In this class, we will walk through Zechariah's vision to understand the spiritual meaning and how it applies to us today. Ask the right question. What are these? Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 9, the prophet sees riders among myrtle trees, but doesn't jump to conclusions. He asks. Don't assume spiritual things. Ask questions. Inquire of the Lord. Too many are quick to interpret visions, signs, or movements without divine counsel. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 7. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 7.
Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding.
Now let's go to the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 5. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 5.
If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
Moving on, we're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 1. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil.
Now let's talk about the second part of that verse, Zechariah 1 and 9. The angel that talked with me. There's always a messenger, an interpreter. Not every voice is the voice of God, but he sends his word through chosen vessels. Are you listening to the angel, the messenger, or chosen vessel sent to interpret your life? Or are you ignoring divine instruction? Let's jump to the book of Job, chapter 33, verse 23 through 24. The book of Job, chapter 33, verse 23 through 24.
If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
Now let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 1 and verse 14. The book of Hebrews, chapter 1 and verse.
Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
14. Read the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 8 through 9. The book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 8 through 9.
And I, John, saw these things, and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, See thou do it not. For I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God.
Now let's talk about the riders among the myrtle trees. Let's get the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 8. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 8.
I saw by night, and behold a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom. And behind him were there red horses, speckled and white.
These represent heavenly watchers scouting the earth. The earth is being patrolled. The Most High has watchers in place. Your life is not unnoticed. Every act is recorded. Every cry heard. Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16 and verse 9. The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16 and verse 9.
For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly. Therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars.
Moving forward, we're going to the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 7. The book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 7.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Now read the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 14. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 14.
And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning.
The state of the earth is at rest, but not righteous. Let's read the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 11. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 11.
And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees, and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still, and is at rest.
The writers report that all the earth sits still and is at rest. Let me tell you something. Peace in the world does not mean peace with God. Just because a nation isn't at war doesn't mean it's walking righteously. Give me the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 20 through 21. The book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 20 through 21.
But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt.
Now let's jump to the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 17. The book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse 17.
Because thou sayest, I am rich, and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked.
Let's follow that up with the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, and verse 3. The book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, and verse 3.
For when they shall say, Peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Cry is for Jerusalem and Judah. Let me get the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, and verse 12. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1, and verse 12.
Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years?
The angel intercedes. How long wilt thou not have mercy? Intercession is part of the spiritual warfare. Even angels make supplication for Israel. Are we crying out for our people? Let me get the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 6 through 7. The book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 6 through 7.
I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest, till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth.
Now give me the book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1. The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1.
Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
Moving forward, we're going to the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 20 through 21. The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 20 through 21.
And whiles I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before the Lord my God for the holy mountain of my God, yea, whiles I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation.
The jealousy of the Lord is for Zion. Give me the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 14. We're going to read the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 14.
So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy.
The Most High is jealous for Jerusalem. That's a possessive love, covenant seal. God is protective over his chosen. Don't mistake his silence for absence. He is stirred when his people suffer. Let's read the book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 14. The book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 14.
For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
Now let's get the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 18. The book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 18.
Then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people.
Let's jump to the book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 2. The book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 2.
God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies.
Hear the comforting words, return and rebuild. Let's get the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 13. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 13.
And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me, with good words and comfortable words.
Let's follow that up with the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 16. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 16.
Therefore thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem.
God promises restoration. Though judgment came, he now offers mercy. God doesn't leave us in ruins. He sends builders. But first, we must repent and prepare. Let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 1 through 2. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 1 through 2.
Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins.
Now let's go to the book of Amos, chapter 9, and verse 14. The book of Amos, chapter 9, and verse 14.
And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Jump to the book of Acts, chapter 15, and verse 16. The book of Acts, chapter 15, and verse 16.
After this I will return, and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up.
Now let's deal with the four horns and the four carpenters. I'm going to read the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 18 through 21. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 18 through 21.
Then lifted I up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, four horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me four carpenters. Then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it.
Horns represent powers that scattered Israel. Carpenters are those raised up to cast them down. Understand this, for every oppressor there is a deliverer. God raises builders to overthrow demonic systems. Go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 1 and verse 10.
See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out, and to pull down, and to destroy, and to throw down, to build, and to plant.
Now let's get the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 12. The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 12.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Moving forward, we're going to the book of Psalms, chapter 75 and verse 10. The book of Psalms, chapter 75 and verse 10.
All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted.
I will show thee what these be. We are not in the dark. Visions are explained, patterns are revealed, but only to those who seek. Don't be content with surface understanding. Go deeper. Ask, wait, and watch. The Most High reveal what's hidden. Give me the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33 and verse 3. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 33 and verse 3.
Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which thou knowest not.
Now let's jump to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 10. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 10.
But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God.
Now let's read the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 11. The book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 11.
He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
What are these? The question shows a readiness to learn. Zechariah didn't stay in ignorance, and neither should you. Angels are on patrol. The Most High is jealous for his people. Builders are being raised. But will you recognize what you see, or will you interpret what you hear? Will you prepare for what's coming? And close out with the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 1. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 1.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Shalom, Israel.